Hello and welcome back to Horoscope TV. It is so good to have you with us again. We're settling in for what I think is going to be a really rigorous session today.
Hmm.
We're focusing our lens entirely on one specific sign. We're talking about the builders, the climbers, the CEOs of the zodiac. We're talking strictly about Capricorn.
It's a pleasure to be here, and we aren't just looking at the archetype of Capricorn in, a vacuum today. We're looking at a very specific window of time. We're forecasting the astrology for the week of February 23rd through March 1st, 2026.
2026. It feels like the future, but here we are. I've been spending some time with the charts you sent over, looking at the data for late February, and I have to say,
Yeah.
it feels like this week has a very distinct flavor.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a standard, grinded out work week for Capricorn. It feels like a narrative that starts with this messy, almost chaotic energy, but then it seems to just wrap up in this really beautiful resolution. It's almost cinematic.
That is a perfect way to describe it. If you look at the astrological stage for this week, the drama is high. We have a significant amount of turbulence in the data. We have a retrograde stationing. We have a very aggressive clash between Mars and Uranus.
Which is always intense.
Always a signal for intensity, but you're right. There is a clear narrative arc. It's not chaos for the sake of chaos. The geometry of the planets is moving us from high tension directly into a state of, peace. It's a week of problem solving.
I love that concept, problem solving, rather than just, enduring. So let's set the scene for the Capricorn listener. They are pragmatic people. They like a mission statement. If they had to put a sticky note on their bathroom mirror for the morning of Monday, February 23rd, what is the mission for this week?
Sticky note should read, navigate local ties and communication.
Local ties. Okay, let's unpack that immediately because that actually sounds a bit counterintuitive for Capricorn. Usually when we talk about Capricorn, we're talking about the 10th house legacy, global empire, long-term career goals. Why are we zooming in on the local?
That is the fascinating contradiction in the data this week. The planetary alignments are heavily activating the third house. In astrology, the third house governs your immediate environment. We're talking about your neighborhood, your siblings, your commute.
The barista you see every morning.
Exactly, the barista you see every morning. It is the near rather than the far.
So the universe is telling the sea goat to stop looking at the distant mountain peak for a second and look at the path right under their hooves.
Precisely. The ambition usually drives Capricorn to look at the 5-year plan. But the charts are indicating that the crucial activity, the friction and the resolution, is happening in the backyard. It's about how ideas are shared within that small, tight-knit circle.
Before we get into the day-by-day breakdown, and I know we have a lot to cover because the middle of the week looks particularly spicy, give us a little teaser. What are the headline events, the major cosmic transits that we need to be aware of?
There are 3 major cosmic events that provide the structure for this week. First, on Tuesday, we have the first quarter moon. This is the astrological pivot point, or, the balancing act. Second, on Wednesday, Mercury turns retrograde. That is the slowdown, the reversal. And finally, we have a tale of 2 aspects. The Mars-Uranus clash on Thursday, which provides the shock,
Okay.
versus the Mercury-Venus meeting on Friday, which provides the healing balm.
The shock versus the healing balm. That sounds like a roller coaster.
Mm.
But Capricorns are sturdy. They can handle a rough ride if they know where the track is going. Let's start with the cosmic landscape for the beginning of the week. We're looking at Monday, February 23rd, and Tuesday, February 24th.
We start the week building toward that first quarter moon on February 24th. Now, we need to analyze what a first quarter moon actually means mechanically. This isn't a full moon where things are coming to fruition and releasing.
It's not a new moon either.
And it's not a new moon where we are planting seeds in the dark.
Right. It's the halfway point to the full moon. It's that moment of action.
Yeah. Exactly. Geometrically, the sun and the moon are at a 90-degree angle to each other. In astrology, a 90-degree angle is a square. It creates friction. It demands action. So for a Capricorn who is usually very goal-oriented, a first quarter moon often feels like a crisis of action.
Crisis of action. That sounds dramatic. What does that actually feel like on a Tuesday morning while you're trying to have your coffee?
It feels like a conflict between the now and the future. The sun represents your core self, your ego, and for Capricorn, that is often tied to long-term ambition. The moon represents your emotional needs and your daily habits. When they square off, the universe is asking you to find a balance between your daily tasks, the grind, the checklist, the laundry, the emails, and those big future plans.
I see. So the Capricorn is sitting there thinking, I need to launch this company, but the moon is saying, you need to do the dishes and answer that email from your neighbor.
Exactly. And the trap for Capricorn is to ignore the moon. They want to skip the dishes and launch the company. But this Tuesday, the cosmos is saying, don't look at the peak. If you focus too much on the 5-year plan, you are going to trip over the stone right in front of you. The specific advice here is, don't let the big picture distract from the small checklist items right in front of your face.
So keep your head down and do the work. Grind it out. But I'm looking at the data here for Tuesday the 24th, and it's not just about drudgery. There's a spark here. I see a note about income potential.
Yes, this is the silver lining of that first quarter moon tension. Specifically, on February 24th, there is a planetary alignment that suggests a new idea regarding income. And consistent with our local theme, this isn't about a foreign investment or a stock market play. It's about a local project.
Keep your eyes on your own neighborhood for opportunities. That is really interesting. So if we are brainstorming for the listener, what does that look like?
It could be realizing there is a service you can offer to people on your street. Maybe it's a consulting gig for a local business. Maybe it's realizing that a skill you have is in high demand right in your community board. Something really close to home.
Or even something like realizing you can monetize a hobby and sell it at the local market. It's about seeing value in the immediate environment.
Exactly. It's about proximity. The opportunity is within walking distance.
Okay, so Tuesday is about balancing the grind with the big picture and maybe spotting a money-making opportunity next door. Then we hit Wednesday, February 26th, and here it is. The event that makes everyone on social media lose their minds, the dreaded R word, Mercury retrograde.
Yes, Mercury turns retrograde on February 26th.
I feel like we need to do a little public service announcement here. Every time we mention Mercury retrograde, people roll their eyes and think their computer is going to explode or their ex is going to text them. But let's analyze this astrologically. What is actually happening and why does it matter for Capricorn this week?
Let's strip away the superstition and look at the mechanics. Mercury is the planet of communication, commerce, logistics, and data. When we say it is retrograde, it means that from our perspective on Earth, it appears to be moving backward in the sky. It isn't actually moving backward, of course. It's an optical illusion caused by the relative speeds of the planets orbiting the sun.
Like when you pass a car on the highway and it looks like it's moving backward for a second.
Exactly like that. But symbolically, in astrology, when a planet tracks backward, the energy turns inward and backward. It governs the re-words: review, redo, rethink, repair.
Okay, so for Capricorn specifically, where is this happening in their chart? Where's all this reviewing and redoing taking place?
It is happening in their third house, the house of communication, short-term travel, and the local environment.
So we aren't just talking about a general sense of confusion. We are talking about specific breakdowns in those areas.
Correct. It's not just about your laptop crashing. No, please, back up your data.
Yes, please.
It is about perception and movement. The retrograde in the third house suggests that your commute, your school run, your drive to the grocery store, these things might feel messy.
Messy? You mean delays, traffic jams?
I mean, the traffic light that is always green is suddenly broken. I mean, road construction pops up on a route that was clear yesterday. I mean, you miss a turn you've taken 1,000 times because your mind wandered. The physical act of moving through your local environment becomes sticky.
That is incredibly frustrating for a Capricorn. Their core value is efficiency. They want to get from A to B in the shortest time possible.
It is the ultimate anti-efficiency transit, and mentally it does the same thing. Because Mercury rules the lower mind, the processing of daily data, your schedule is going to feel scattered. You might double book yourself. You might forget an appointment. This leads to significant mental stress because the Capricorn wants the calendar to be a fortress of solitude and order.
And Mercury retrograde is like a toddler running through that fortress, knocking over the filing cabinets.
That is a very, very accurate visual.
So what about ideas? You mentioned this is a time for rewords.
Yes. An old idea might come back around to be rethought. This is not a time for new launches. If you are Capricorn listening to this and you have a brand new, shiny idea on Wednesday the 26th, put it in a drawer.
Put it in a drawer. Really? For how long?
Put it in a drawer until the retrograde is over. The data suggests that new initiatives launched during a Mercury retrograde in the third house are often plagued with communication errors or need to be redone later. Instead, look at the idea you had 3 months ago that you abandoned. Open that drawer, see if that one actually has legs.
So the strategy for Wednesday is counterintuitive. It's not about pushing forward.
It is. You have to slow down. If you try to speed up to fix the errors, you will just make more errors. Use this energy to fix old mistakes in writing. Edit the manuscript. Don't write the new chapter. Organize the daily schedule rather than expanding it.
Clean up the mess, don't make a new one.
Precisely. You are curating your past efforts, not pioneering new ones.
Okay, so we're slowing down on Wednesday. We are accepting the traffic. We are editing our work. But then Thursday comes, February 27th. And looking at this outline, this looks like the danger zone of the week.
It is. This is the peak volatility of the forecast. We have a square aspect between Mars and Uranus.
Let's analyze that combination. Mars is the planet of action, aggression, heat, and severance. Uranus is the planet of shock, electricity, revolution, and the unexpected. And they are in a square, that 90-degree angle of tension we talked about.
That is a volatile cocktail. It is sudden, restless, and tight. When Mars and Uranus square off, it's like lighting a match in a room full of fireworks. The energy wants to break free, and it usually does so explosively.
Okay, give us the red flags. What exactly does a Capricorn need to dodge on Thursday the 27th? What should they be looking out for?
The charts highlight 3 specific areas of risk. First and foremost, financial shock.
Oof. That is a Capricorn's nightmare. They prize financial stability above almost anything.
They do. And this transit warns of a sudden shift in plans or a surprise in finances. This isn't necessarily a market crash, but it could be an unexpected expense related to work.
Okay, so not the world is ending.
No. Maybe a tool you use for your job suddenly breaks and needs replacing immediately. Maybe a subscription renews that you thought you canceled. Something irritating and immediate.
So the advice is defensive, like financially defensive.
Extremely defensive. Do not spend money on Wednesday and keep a buffer for Thursday. And critically, do not let a small change in money ruin your focus. That is key. If the surprise expense hits, do not spiral. It's just a transit.
Okay, that's important. Don't let it derail you. What about the second area of risk?
Emotional and social volatility. Mars-Uranus affects the nervous system. A sudden mood swing yours or someone else's could derail the day. A surprise message could cause significant stress. You know, a text out of the blue that just sends you sideways.
And the third area, you mentioned work.
The workplace. This is a massive warning light. Avoid drama at all costs. This Mars-Uranus transit sparks sudden arguments. For Capricorn, because of where these planets are sitting, these arguments will likely be about money matters or professional goals.
So let's play out a scenario. It's Thursday afternoon. A Capricorn is in a meeting. Their boss comes in hot about a budget line item or a project timeline. The Capricorn feels that surge of Mars adrenaline.
Yeah.
They want to fight back. What do?
You absolutely do not fight back. You bite your tongue. You keep your head down. If you engage on Thursday under a Mars-Uranus square, the argument will escalate instantly and unpredictably. You could say something you can't take back. It's just not worth it.
Let's make a don't list for Thursday, just to be crystal clear for everyone listening.
Number 1, do not let a small change in money ruin your focus. Number 2, do not sign new money contracts. Remember, we have this Mars-Uranus chaos compounded by Mercury retrograde.
Oh, that's a double whammy.
It is. Signing a contract on this day is asking for legal trouble or confusion down the line.
And number 3.
Do not buy expensive gadgets without thinking twice. Impulse buying on a Mars-Uranus square during Mercury retrograde is a recipe for buyer's remorse. You'll buy the phone and it won't work, or you'll realize you didn't need it.
I can feel the tension just talking about Thursday. It sounds physically exhausting. Does this manifest in the body?
Yes, absolutely. The energy can make the body feel tight or anxious. You might feel a buzzing in your nervous system. That is the Uranus electricity.
So what do? Just hide under the duvet?
No, you have to move the energy. Mars needs an outlet. The actionable tip here is gentle exercise. Not competitive sports, you might get injured with this aspect, but something rhythmic. Yoga is excellent. Or, going back to our theme, a brisk walk in nature. You need to relax the muscles rather than fighting the current.
Right.
If you sit still and stew, you'll explode. If you walk it off, you'll process it.
Walk it off. Okay. We can do that because we have to get to Friday. Friday, February 28th. The outline calls this the sweet release.
And it truly is. The narrative arc resolves here. The storm passes and the sun comes out.
Tell us about this shift. We go from the anxiety of the 27th to what does that feel like?
To the conjunction of Mercury and Venus on the 28th.
Let's analyze that. Mercury is communication. Venus is love, harmony, and beauty. A conjunction means they are sitting right next to each other in the sky.
Correct. They are blending their energies. This is one of the loveliest aspects in astrology, often called the diplomat. This alignment brings a beautiful sense of peace and articulateness. It offers a chance to talk through any issues with kindness and a clear mind.
So all that drama from Thursday,
Mhm.
all the things we bit our tongues about.
This is the moment to fix it. This is the moment to resolve the workplace drama or relationship tension that might have bubbled up earlier in the week. Because Mercury is involved, you will have the right words. Because Venus is involved, the other person will be receptive.
That's a relief. It's not just that the bad stuff stops, it's that we get a tool to fix it.
Yes. You will find peaceful solutions to coworker issues. You might get good news about a local gain or a small win that brings happiness. And physically, that tightness from Thursday it dissolves. You'll feel vibrant and peaceful.
Talk about a week of contrasts, from a firecracker to a gentle breeze.
It really is. It's a test of endurance followed by a reward.
I want to dive deeper into the specific sectors of life. We've touched on them, but let's break it down further. I know our listeners always want to know about the heart. Let's start with love and romance.
The theme for love this week is local world and kind words.
Local world again. It's really the thread tying this all together.
It permeates everything. The retrograde effect on February 26th suggests you might need to rethink how you talk to a partner. Mercury retrograde can make us clumsy with our words, but there's also this heavy element of nostalgia.
Nostalgia, how so? What does that mean in practical terms?
The data includes a very specific prediction. An old neighbor might bring back a memory of a past love.
Whoa, that is specific. An old neighbor, not just an old friend, but a neighbor.
It is, and it fits the astrology perfectly. Mercury retrograde represents the past returning. The third house represents the neighbor. It's about the past intersecting with your immediate environment.
That could be running into someone at the grocery store, or just driving past a house that triggers a memory.
Exactly. Or maybe someone you grew up with reaches out on social media. It brings a flavor of the past into the present.
What if you're single? Is there any hope amidst the retrograde and the Mars-Uranus chaos?
There is, but you have to look in the right places. The advice is to look for someone who shares a love for learning and local travel. The connection is intellectual, that's Mercury, and it is nearby, that's the third house.
So don't look on the dating apps for someone in a different city. Look at the library. Look at the local history club. Look at the coffee shop you go to every day.
Ideally, yes. The chemistry is mental this week. It's about shared ideas. It's about a conversation that just sparks.
And if you are planning a date, when do you do it? I think I know the answer.
I think the answer is obvious by now.
Not Thursday. Please do not go on a first date on Thursday.
Definitely not Thursday. If you go on a first date on Thursday with Mars square Uranus, you might end up in an argument about politics before the appetizers arrive. The recommendation is Friday, February 28th. This is the best night for romance.
Because of that Mercury-Venus meeting.
Yes, Mercury and Venus together make it easier to express the heart and find common ground. The conversation will just flow. The advice is to let love unfold naturally. Don't force it during the stress of the 27th. Wait for the 28th.
Let love unfold naturally. That is beautiful advice. It's about timing. Astrology is really just the art of timing, isn't it?
That is exactly what it is. Knowing when to push and when to yield, when to speak and when to listen.
Let's shift gears to work and money. Capricorns are usually obsessed with this sector. We talked about the dangers, but let's talk strategy. How do they win this week?
The career strategy is defined by the rephase we discussed. Review, rethink, redo.
Because of the retrograde in the communication house.
Since Mercury is retrograde in the communication sector, you need to look at messages and local projects again. Things will feel slower. The strategy is to accept it.
Acceptance is hard for Capricorn. They want to push the river.
Pushing the river this week will only exhaust you. The tactics are: fix writing mistakes. Organize the daily schedule. If you are a manager, don't launch a new initiative. Instead, audit the team's workflow. Find the inefficiencies.
And the forecast mentions wisdom as the best asset. What does that mean here?
Yes. Use wisdom to navigate coworker friction. Don't engage in the petty squabbles. Be the adult in the room. When everyone else is freaking out on Thursday because of the Mars-Uranus square, the Capricorn should be the rock. That is how you win. You win by being the calmest person in the room.
And financially. We mentioned the shock, but what is the overall status for the week?
The overall status is stable, but requires extra care.
Stable is good. Capricorns like stable.
Stable is good, but there is a warning. Delay in payments or refunds is likely.
Classic retrograde. The check is in the mail, but the mail is slow.
Exactly. Or the bank transfer gets flagged for a security review. So keep the budget simple. Don't spend money you don't physically have in your account yet. But remember, the upside on the 28th. The small win or good news regarding a local gain. It might not be the lottery, but it's a positive shift.
Let's talk about health and wellness.
Yeah.
You mentioned the tightness on Thursday, but there's a bigger theme here about routines.
Health is explicitly tied to daily routines this week. The sixth house of health and the third house of routine are often linked. The trap here is that Mercury retrograde causes a scattered schedule. When a Capricorn schedule breaks, their health often takes a hit because they prioritize work over the gym or proper meals.
I'm too busy putting out fires to go to the gym. I've heard that one.
Exactly, or I'll just eat at my desk. The fix is to revisit a healthy habit you used to have.
Retrograde going back to the past again. It's a consistent theme.
Yes. Go back to a habit that worked in 2025 or 2024. Maybe it was meal prepping. Maybe it was a specific workout class, and specifically walking.
Walking, again, relating to local travel, moving through the neighborhood.
It grounds you in your environment. Capricorns are earth signs. They need to feel the ground. And regarding that Mars-Uranus anxiety on the 27th, remember, restlessness is physical energy trapped in the body. You have to burn it off gently.
Rest and a steady routine are essential. It sounds like boring advice, but sometimes the boring advice is the only thing that works.
For Capricorn, routine isn't boring. Routine is medicine. Routine is the structure that allows them to climb.
I want to get into the cosmic toolkit. These are the specific little details, colors, numbers that help navigate the week. What is the color of the week for Capricorn?
The color is forest green.
Forest green. Not bright neon green, deep, dark green.
Color code #228B22 for the designers out there.
I love that. Why forest green?
Okay.
What is the psychology or vibration of that color?
It connects to the need for grounding. It represents nature like that walk in the woods or the park we prescribed. It brings that steady earth energy. It's the color of the evergreen tree, which is actually a symbol associated with Capricorn. It persists through the winter. It holds its color when everything else is bare. That is the energy you need during the chaos of the retrograde.
It's calming just thinking about it. What about the lucky numbers?
The numbers are 8, 17, 26, 35, 44, and 53.
And the best dates for action. Just to recap.
We've hit them, but to reiterate for the calendars, February 24th for income ideas, and February 28th for love, resolution, and peace.
Mark those down. Now, my favorite part, the compatibility corner. Who is the Capricorn's best friend this week, and who should they maybe avoid?
The best match this week is Taurus.
Another earth sign. Makes sense.
Yes, and the reason is clear. They share the practical and steady nature needed this week.
How does a Taurus help a Capricorn specifically right now? What's the dynamic?
Well, Taurus is ruled by Venus. They are naturally calm, grounded, and appreciative of comfort. They help Capricorn stay grounded during the retrograde. When Capricorn starts panicking about the schedule, Taurus says, sit down, have some tea, it will be fine. Let's look at this sensibly.
They're a human anchor.
They really are. They provide solid support during the stress of the 27th. They are the perfect companion for working on a fun project or sharing local news on the 28th.
That sounds lovely, a stabilizing force. But who is the difficult match? Who's going to cause friction?
Libra.
Libra, air sign. Why the friction? What's the problem there?
It's the friction between fun and serious, or perhaps indecision versus decisiveness.
And Capricorn is being very serious this week. They don't have time for fun.
Very. The Mars-Uranus square makes Libra seem indecisive or flighty to the Capricorn eye. Libra is ruled by Venus, like Taurus, but it's an air sign Venus. It's social, it's intellectual, it flits from flower to flower. This will frustrate the Capricorn who is trying to put out fires. Libra focuses on beauty and social life. Capricorn is focused on work and rules.
I can see that blowing up on Thursday. A Capricorn is trying to solve a crisis, and a Libra is trying to decide on dinner plans.
Oh, absolutely. There is a high risk of misunderstandings about shared goals due to the retrograde. The advice is simple. Avoid serious talks with Libras until the energy clears. Keep it light or keep your distance. Do not try to solve a complex problem with a Libra on Thursday.
Good to know. So let's wrap this up. We've looked at the chaos, the peace, the love, the money. If we had to summarize this week in a sentence, what is it?
It is a week of course correction. It starts with ambition, hits a speed bump with the retrograde, navigates a sudden shock with Mars and Uranus, and lands in a beautiful place of connection with Mercury and Venus.
It's a journey. It's not a straight line from A to B.
It is. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, we often look for answers in distant places or grand gestures. We think the solution to our problems is a plane ride away or a new job away or a lottery win away.
But this week, the answer is closer.
This week suggests your biggest breakthrough in love or money is already sitting right in your own neighborhood. It's in the third house. So here is a question for the listener to mull over this week. What have you been walking past every day that deserves a second look?
That is a great question.
Mm.
Is it a person, a storefront, a flyer on a telephone pole, a skill you already have that you've been ignoring?
You'll have to walk the neighborhood to find out.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for breaking down the stars for us. This has been a really insightful look at the week ahead. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to Horoscope TV.
It's been a pleasure.
Make sure you subscribe so you get notified when the next episode is available. We'll be back with more forecasts to help you navigate the cosmos. Until then, find some peace in your local world.
Goodbye.
See you next time.